Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to lesson 5.6, the last lesson of chapter 5. In this lesson, we are finding the whole from a percent. So that means that we are given a percent and how much that equals to be able to figure out the total and the whole. You don't have to copy this word problem down, but let's get started. Emily has sent 28 text messages so far this week. That is 20% of the total number of text messages she is allowed to send in 1 week. What is the total number of text messages Emily can send in 1 week? All right, so I know that so far she's sent 28 messages. That takes up 20% of what she's allowed to send in a week. And we need to figure out what is that total that she's allowed to send per week. So to set this problem up, I am going to think about percent, which equals part over the whole. So then I'm going to plug in what I do know. I do know that she uses 20%, and that is the equivalent to 28 over some number of text messages that she's allowed to send per week. Did some editing and moved over my work so I can have more space. All right, so in order to figure out what that missing value is, I'm going to first start off by making this percent into a fraction. So then I can make equivalent fractions. So 20%, 20 over 100, is equivalent to 28 over some value. I'm going to simplify that 20 over 100 to make it easier to work with. So I know that 20 over 100 simplifies to 1/5, is then equivalent to 28 over some value. All right, so now here's where our math is really starting to work. If I want to make equivalent fractions, I think about, all right, 1 times what gets me 28? That's 28. So I can do the same thing to my denominator. You can do the work off to the side, or I can think about 5 times 20 is 100. 5 times 8 is 40. 100 plus 40 is 140. So that 140 tells me that that's the total amount that she is allowed to send in 1 week. And 28 of that is equivalent to 20%. So the answer is 140, I'll say T messages. All right, our next example, 24 is 5% of what number? Okay, start off by setting these up as fractions. My percent, 24 over 100 is equivalent to 5%. Oops, I got this totally backwards. 5% over 100, there we go, is equivalent to 24 of some number. Start off by simplifying that percent, so 5 over 100 simplifies to 1 over 20. And now I can make my equivalent fractions. 1 times 24 is 24. So now I have to do 20 times 24 to get that denominator. 2 times 24 is 48, and add your 0. So 24 is 5% of the number 480. All right, same thing with number 3. 12 is 40% of which number? And I'm going to get it right this time. 40% is equivalent to 12 over something. Let's simplify that to 2/5 is equivalent to 12 over something. 2 times 6 gets you 12. Same thing with your denominator. Multiply by 6, and you get 30. So 12 is 40% of 30. And you can think if your answer is reasonable because 40% is a little bit less than half. So if you think 12 is just a little bit less than half of 30, and so we can kind of ballpark it and say, yeah, that seems like it could be right. Now, if you got a number that was less than 12, then you definitely did something wrong. Here are your practice problems. Find what whole these parts take up. All right? You can use the method that we just showed you, or that I just showed you, or you can use what you know about those percentages. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.